Hey everyone, welcome back to the Poplar Report. We need to talk about some very big things that are happening out there. We got stuff happening in Eastern Europe that nobody's really paying attention to right now. I know everyone's talking about peace talks between Bear Country and Eastern Europe, but that's really not looking like it's moving forward. In fact, it's looking more and more like Bear Country and Pooh Bear, not the other Pooh Bear, but the European Pooh Bear is just playing for time. And there is a big reason for that. We have a massive summer offensive about to begin, and it looks like we're just starting to see the first opening salvo of that. And that is going to be huge, friends, because it looks like this thing's about to be cracked wide open. We need to talk about this, Europe's reaction to that, and the possibility that the United States is going to get drawn into this one. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And these are the things the mainstream media just doesn't want to talk about. Partly they want to pretend like this isn't happening, and partly they're just not paying attention. Everyone's looking the wrong direction right now. And this could endanger us, you, all of us. Let's get into it. All right, so the Financial Times just put out an article just yesterday, I believe it was, kind of outlining some of this. But when you dig into it, European NATO has been anticipating a large-scale summer offensive. They've seen massive Russian troop buildups along the border, and they are concerned that this is about to become a thing. And I'm using words. Anyway, Bear Country is looking at cracking open the front. They've been grinding, which up to this point has served them well. They have just inflicted massive casualties. They've used their artillery superiority to great effect, and now they are ramping up their drone attacks. They've ramped up their drone production. I wonder who might have helped them build more drones. Could it be the country that happens to be the #1 drone producer in the world, aka China? Or could it be the fact that they are also getting assistance from Iran? Yeah, probably. But what we do know is that Eastern Europe was producing more drones than Bear Country was, and that number has now shifted the opposite direction. Bear Country is now able to deploy more drones per day. They had artillery superiority before. Now they have not only manpower superiority, artillery superiority, tanks, and even aircraft. Though aircraft have not really played a massive role in the conflict, but now they have more drones, and they're cranking out more drones faster. They just launched a massive wave of attacks on Eastern Europe. They said that this is in retaliation to large-scale attacks on Bear Country, including an attempted assassination of Pooh himself. Mr. Pooh seems to be very upset about that and seems to be taking it personally, and we haven't seen him order a retaliatory that way on Eastern Europe, but he is definitely launching large-scale attacks. Now, they've just announced, and we're already seeing the effects of this. They are launching a operation to create a security buffer zone. This is launching a invasion into areas where they hadn't crossed the border before, basically because it's mostly wasted territory. Kursk, as much as the Eastern Europeans were super excited about being in there, it was territory that really, for the most part, didn't matter. It's mostly unoccupied territory. There are some towns and villages, but not really populated, not really industrialized. They were trying to drive towards a nuclear power plant, which would have been something, and a nuclear weapons depot, I believe. But they didn't. But that was like really far in. and they were just trying to gobble up as much territory as possible, but they've been pushed out completely. Well, Bear Country is now pushing back the other way and creating this security buffer zone. Basically, they're going to take even more territory, and what this is also doing is it is lengthening the conflict line. They are going to try to draw Eastern European troops out, potentially out into the open, or potentially this could be for them to do a new line of attack. They could be opening up a new front here. It could be just that they want a buffer zone, and that's all that is. That could be, but we've already seen troops across the border and have already started taking over some of the towns and villages on the other side of the border. So this is, whatever it is right now, it's happening. And people are saying this might be the opening salvo to the summer campaign, the summer offensive. So Bear Country troops have been massing and reinforcing their positions in preparation for a larger push. Not just grinding forward like they have been, but potentially to break out. We'll see what happens in the coming days. Europe is absolutely not having it. They are just losing their minds. They have continued their gifts of F-16 fighter jets, manufactured, of course, in the United States of America. But they're completing their first delivery of 24 F-16s. These are, a bunch of them have already been on station inside Eastern Europe, but the final ones are being delivered. They have another wave that's getting ready to go. Europe just announced that they are taking the gloves off. They are not having any limitations on weapons to be delivered. So apparently, if any European country wants to deliver basically anything at this point, they can deliver that to Eastern Europe. Some of these European countries are talking about deploying troops. Is that serious? I'm going to say it's probably not. And the reason why I say that's probably not serious, like infantry troops, okay? I don't think that's really serious because European troops, European countries really don't have the capability of standing up against Bear Country. While everyone keeps looking at Bear Country as if it's backwards, the simple fact is that they are on the ground, they have their logistical supply chain built, and they have experience in this. The troops that are there have been fighting for a while, and they have learned how to fight and operate in those conditions, in those areas. European troops on the ground there would cause some serious problems for the European troops. Now, will they continue to provide logistical supply, logistical support, and even training within Eastern Europe? Quite possibly. And it sounds like they're already doing that as it is. They may ramp that up. But they don't want to anger President Trump. I think that's really what it comes down to, is that they don't want to look like they are trying to drag President Trump or manipulate the United States into this conflict. Now, they don't want to appear to be doing that, but they absolutely want to do that. They want to draw the United States in. They know if they can get the United States roped in, then Americans will do the lion's share of the fighting and the lion's share of the spending and the lion's share of just everything else and all the sacrifices that go along with that. That's what they want. The Europeans want the Americans to go in and go deal with this. Because they also think that Bear Country would not strike back at the United States in force. Now, we got Germany has just opened up its first deployment, first permanent stationing of their troops. They've just stationed a brigade in Lithuania, and that is big news. This is the first time since World War II that they have stationed troops permanently outside their country and they feel pretty strongly about it. The European Union just authorized $180 billion as a fund that basically countries can borrow against. So if they want to buy weapons or rearm their country's military, they can borrow money from this $180 billion sitting there. They can borrow against that in order to build up weapons or buy weapons and stockpile them and whatever. This is a very interesting scheme that they're doing. That is happening right now as well. Europe realizes that they need a military that can actually stand up to bear country, because the United States is like, you know what? We're done protecting you guys. You guys have GDP equivalent, slightly larger than the United States. If you put the entire European Union together, you have a larger population than the United States does. So why are we protecting you from a country that has a smaller population than you and has a much smaller GDP than you? Like, you need to protect yourself. You're just living large off the American taxpayers, and we're kind of done with it. And so Europe is realizing that they can't depend on the United States anymore, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't. People who can stand on their own shouldn't have to rely on other people. If they do, it's just because they're lazy. That's what it is. And it's time that we kick them out of the house and make them go live on the street corner until they go figure things out, because they either need to start paying rent or they need to move out of daddy's house, so to speak. And if you're a European, you just got offended by that, well, good. If you got offended by that, it's probably because I just said something accurate. The United States has vastly outspent Europe on defense, and the United States doesn't really have any threat of being invaded. So you do the math on that one. We've been spending lots of money to protect the Europeans, you guys, and you guys haven't spent a dime protecting the United States. We've been invaded, and you guys didn't do nothing, except a bunch of you guys actually spent money helping the people invade the United States. So we'll just put that one out there too. All right, so major summer offensive is taking shape, and it looks like it's starting to move underway. If they achieve a breakout, a large-scale breakout, this could rapidly change things in a certain sector of the combat operations. If they can isolate a large pocket of Eastern Europeans, if they can break off and encircle a large group of Eastern Europeans, if they can open up a certain area and then plunge right on through, if they have the fuel, the ammo, and all the other things to go with it, they could break in and go pretty deep. At this point, Eastern Europe doesn't really have reserves, whereas Bear Country does have reserves and can deploy them if it chooses to do so. Now, they had to wait until the ground dried out for their summer offensive. Rumors had it that the Bear Country guys were getting ready for a winter offensive, but it didn't get cold enough for the ground to freeze solid for tanks to be able to roll over it very quickly. And so it looks like the winter offensive just kind of didn't happen because the weather didn't cooperate. However, it has been drying out. And with that drier weather means the mud is disappearing and it's turning into hard ground, which means you can take armored vehicles, you can take wheeled vehicles over it a lot easier. And we're going to be seeing something's going to happen. And it looks like Bear Country has been playing for time in negotiations to keep any large-scale sanctions off their back. They already have a whole bunch of sanctions on them, but honestly, I think a lot more of the sanctions relief is to keep China from getting hit by these things, because that's what we're talking about doing, is going after the companies and the countries that are buying up the oil. Yeah, we're looking at India and we're looking at China on that one. So basically, Bear Country doesn't want to be isolated If the United States goes after these other countries more, it's probably going to push them more into bear country's camp. Now, we just saw the first train, direct rail line between China and Iran. The train just arrived in Iran, and that means that the train arrived from China full of solar panels, and it's quite capable now that Iran can send trainloads full of oil directly into China without United States naval intervention or meddling. It just gets around all the sanctions. China has been rapidly building up its rail links and its pipeline links to bear country, and so they can get the oil flowing, that they can get the gas flowing over land into. So they're building their land links hard and fast, and this was the biggest blunder of the Biden administration, really, that ever was the idea of pushing China and bear country together, and Iran as well, and pushing them into an alliance with each other. They naturally are suspicious of each other. They don't like being connected with each other. They have natural reasons for that, but the recent sanctions and the recent issues and tariffs and all that kind of stuff has just pushed them all together. And they are starting to cooperate more and more. And as they cooperate, they're realizing that this really benefits all of them. And it's getting kind of scary for Europe, the United States, and our allies. All right, friends, that's kind of the big deal that's happening right out there. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Is this a major concern? Is it just over there and doesn't concern us at all and won't concern us? And President Trump's going to be able to keep us out of it? And it's just going to be the Europeans' problem and Eastern Europe's problem? Or is this going to land on our table and we're going to be forced to deal with it in one way, shape, or form? All right, friends, let me know what you guys think about the summer offensive. Is it going to happen? Is it going to be a big deal? Or is it going to be a big nothing burger? All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.